knee. How does that feel? See?
That's pretty cool.
Little parting gift.
Completely sure. Look,
A washed-up MMA fighter named Cole Young discovers he bears a mysterious dragon mark, signifying his destiny to protect Earthrealm. Hunted by the cryomancer Sub-Zero, Cole is drawn into an ancient prophecy surrounding the Mortal Kombat tournament, a brutal contest between Earthrealm and Outworld. He must train with Earthrealm's greatest champions to unlock his latent power, his Arcana, and face the forces of Outworld before they conquer all.
Prophecy has begun.
Back inside.
Finish them!
your death.
Don't worry, darling. Pull down a little.
You're beneath me.
Thank you for helping my still lives on.
Upon us.
That one?
Tight. I was about to go for poetry. Where is it?
There you are.
Knife.
There I was.
Dead for 30 fucking years, mate.
Yeah.
All right. Jump out of this shit box.
Come on, first time?
Yeah, well, simple. But how do we
haven't got all day. Come here, Blondie. How does that feel? See?
That's pretty cool.
Little parting get us? Completely sure. Look,
ために farther than Koi. Kazero. 望んだ。我らの決闘を。I am Liu Kang.
Field has the blood.
They will hold my warriors, and you think I will not bring once.
He looks victorious. I'll assemble a new.
Sorry. My day's fine. Something like that.
Where are you gonna go?
Not what? Who?
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the action-packed bone-crunching and surprisingly heartfelt world of Mortal Kombat from 2021. This isn't just a movie, it's a deep dive into ancient lore, family legacies, and some seriously impressive special effects that make you wince just watching. We'll explore how these characters navigate a universe where destiny literally marks you for battle, and the fate of reality hangs on a few well-placed punches. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. Our story kicks off, not with our modern-day protagonist, but centuries ago. In a serene, yet precarious feudal Japan, around 1617, we're introduced to Hanzo Hasashi, a man of quiet strength, living peacefully with his wife and young son, who's still too small to carry a sword but brimming with future potential. There's a palpable sense of community, the gentle sounds of daily life, the rustling of leaves in the wind, and the smell of cooking rice wafting through the air. Hanzo, skilled and honorable, is drawing water, his movements precise and economical. Suddenly, the tranquility shatters. A chilling, almost supernatural cold descends, a biting wind whipping through the village. The crisp winter air turns heavy, and the sounds of distant screams pierce the peaceful morning. This isn't a normal raiding party. A shadowy figure emerges from the trees, radiating an unnatural cold. His eyes glowing an ominous blue through the slitted mask that covers his face. This is Baihan, a formidable assassin, a cryomancer of terrifying power, leading a detachment of the deadly Lin Kui clan. Their intent is clear and brutal, to eradicate the Hasashi clan, leaving no survivors. It's a blood feud, an ancient rivalry that burns colder than ice. Hanzo rushes back, the frantic thudding of his heart almost drowning out the sounds of destruction. He finds his wife and son, but it's already too late. Baihan, utterly devoid of mercy, has turned his ice powers on them, freezing them solid in a horrific tableau. The air crackles with the lingering chill of death. The sight of his frozen family, the silent horror reflecting in his wide eyes, unleashes a primal scream from Hanzo. This isn't just grief. It's the birth of a legend, the forging of a warrior destined for vengeance. He fights with a desperate fury, his kunai knives whistling through the air, their metallic glint catching the morning sun. The sharp snick of steel against ice, the guttural grunts of the Lin Kui, the desperate clang of a sword hitting armored plating. It's a whirlwind of violence. Baihan, however, is a force of nature, his icy fists striking with bone-shattering impact. Hanzo, outnumbered and facing an opponent with supernatural abilities, is ultimately overwhelmed. The sickening crunch of ice forming around his body, the agonizing cold seeping into his very bones, silences his cries. His last breath is a desperate whisper for his family, as Baihan impales him with an icicle, leaving him for dead. Before succumbing, A mystical glowing dragon symbol appears on Hanzo's chest. A mark of destiny, a sign of his unique lineage and his future as a champion of Earth. This isn't just a birthmark, it's a literal branding, a mystical tattoo that sets certain individuals apart for an ancient cosmic conflict. We then see a brief, almost ghostly glimpse of the infant daughter Hanzo's wife managed to hide before her death, found by the thunder god Raiden himself, who, with a deep sigh that echoes with the weight of centuries, transports her to safety. The stage is set for an epic, bloody saga that spans generations and dimensions. Fast forward to the present day, and we meet Cole Young, a struggling MMA fighter. He's a good man, but he's clearly seen better days. His punches lack the definitive thwack they once had, his movements a bit more sluggish. The roar of the small crowd, the muffled impacts of gloves against bodies, the sweat stinging his eyes. It's a familiar, almost mundane world compared to the ancient bloodshed. Cole has a family he adores, his wife Allison, and their spirited young daughter, Emily. They're the anchor in his otherwise adrift existence. He carries that same dragon mark on his chest, though he dismisses it as a birthmark, a meaningless tattoo. He's totally unaware of its cosmic significance, thinking it's just a cool bit of skin art, maybe from a distant ancestor who really liked dragons. Little does he know that Mark is a literal target. One night, after a particularly bruising fight where the slap of his opponent's glove against his cheek was a harsh reminder of his current standing, Cole is with his family. Suddenly, the air around them grows impossibly cold. The windows of their car frosting over with an audible creak of expanding ice. A chilling presence manifests. It's Sub-Zero, the very same ice assassin from centuries past. His chilling gaze fixed on Cole. He's got this intense stare that could probably freeze a volcano. The sounds of breaking ice and shattering glass fill the night as Sub-Zero launches a brutal, unprovoked attack. It's a terrifying spectacle of supernatural power against an unprepared, very mortal family. Cole, despite his fighting background, is completely outmatched by Sub-Zero's raw elemental force. The sickening thud of ice forming rapidly, the rapid snap of solidifying water, the harsh gush of supercooled air, it's all too much. Just when things look their bleakest, a monstrously muscular man with powerful metallic arms, who we soon learn is Jox, an elite special forces major, intervenes. The powerful clash of Jox's metal arm against Sub-Zero's ice construct sends shivers down your spine. Jox, a man of incredible physical prowess, fights with a determined roar, the sheer force of his blows shaking the ground. But even he is no match for Sub-Zero's ancient power. The Cryomancer's attack is relentless. He envelops one of Jox's arms in a sheath of ice. The rapid crackle and groan of the ice as it freezes flesh and bone, followed by the gruesome, stomach-churning, shattering sound as Sub-Zero effortlessly rips the arm clean off. The sight is absolutely brutal. The sound even more so. Jox collapses, his screams of pain mixing with the frantic cries of Cole's family. It's a terrifying, visceral introduction to the stakes of this world. This isn't a sparring match. It's a fight for survival, where limbs are mere suggestions. Cole, stunned and terrified, escapes with his family, realizing his birthmark is far more than a simple tattoo. He finally understands the terrifying reality of his situation. He's been marked, literally, for an interdimensional deathmatch, and the rules of engagement are incredibly violent. Following Jox's desperate instruction, Cole seeks out Sonya Blade, a seasoned special forces operative who's been obsessed with the legend of Mortal Kombat. Her hideout is a meticulously organized war room, filled with charts, maps, and cryptic symbols. The low hum of computers, the quiet rustle of paper, the soft clicking of a keyboard. It all suggests intense, focused research. Sonya, sharp and cynical, dismisses Cole's birthmark as insignificant at first. But the mention of Jox's name, and the chilling story of Sub-Zero, immediately shifts her demeanor. She has been tirelessly investigating the dragon mark, connecting it to an ancient prophecy and a clandestine tournament. She explains the high stakes. For centuries, a brutal interdimensional fighting tournament known as Mortal Kombat has been waged between Earthrealm, our home, and Outworld, a desolate, conquering dimension. If Outworld secures 10 straight victories, Earthrealms will be enslaved by the tyrannical sorcerer Shang Tsung. They're currently on their 9th win, meaning the next tournament is Earthrealm's last stand. The dragon mark, she explains, isn't just a symbol. It's an invitation, a sign of the chosen ones destined to fight for Earthrealm. It signifies that you possess an Arcana, a latent superpower waiting to be unlocked. Sonya, despite her deep knowledge and undeniable combat skills, doesn't have the mark, a source of quiet frustration for her. She's a brilliant strategist and a deadly fighter. But she's not technically chosen. While at Sonya's compound, Cole also encounters Kano, a loud, foul-mouthed, an utterly unpredictable mercenary whom Sonya has captured. Kano, a classic Aussie criminal with a penchant for crude humor and self-preservation, also bears the dragon mark. He's tied up, probably smelling of stale beer and desperation, grumbling and swearing with every breath. He's got this incredibly cynical view of everything, constantly spouting sarcastic remarks, providing some much-needed comedic relief in an otherwise tense situation. When Sonya explains the Arcana, Kano just rolls his eyes, scoffing at the mystical mumbo-jumbo, probably thinking it's all a big scam. He's more interested in how much money he can make from this whole cosmic brawl. He's a walking, talking embodiment of chaos. A character who can switch from hilarious to terrifying in a single, crude utterance. His dialogue is punctuated by sharp, almost barking laughs and exasperated sighs. He quickly becomes the reluctant, swearing guide through some of this new information. The trio, now an unlikely alliance of a bewildered fighter, a determined soldier, and a mercenary with questionable hygiene, embark on a perilous journey to the hidden temple of Lord Raiden, Earthrealm's protector and a literal god of thunder. The journey is fraught with danger, the constant threat of Outworld's forces lurking in the shadows. We hear the subtle rustle of unseen creatures in the dense foliage, the distant caw of an unnatural bird, keeping them on edge. They eventually arrive at a breathtaking ancient temple, almost entirely carved into a mountain. Shrouded by mist and charged with an ethereal energy, the air here feels different, heavier, humming with unseen power. Inside, they are met by Liu Kang, a stoic and disciplined Shaolin monk, whose movements are fluid and precise, a testament to years of rigorous training. His attire is traditional, his demeanor calm but firm. With him is his cousin, Kung Lao, a flamboyant, confident warrior with a razor-sharp hat and an even sharper wit. Kung Lao, always ready with a playful jab or a boastful comment, is a stark contrast to Liu Kang's seriousness, and you can practically hear the smirk in his voice even when he's being serious. Raiden himself appears, a figure of immense power and serene wisdom, his voice resonating with a deep, almost ethereal quality, his eyes occasionally flashing with electric blue energy. He explains the deeper lore of Mortal Kombat. The tournament is not merely a test of strength but a sacred ritual, bound by ancient laws. He clarifies that the Arcana is not just a power, but an innate, hidden ability tied to the warrior's soul and their unique heritage, waiting to be awakened through intense struggle, self-discovery, or profound emotional catharsis. It's a literal manifestation of their fighting spirit. The temple serves as a sanctuary, a training ground where chosen champions can hone their abilities under Raiden's watchful eye, preparing for the ultimate battle that will determine the fate of their world. The low thrum of ambient magic in the temple feels almost palpable. The training begins, and it's less rocky montage and more brutal trial by fire. The air is thick with the thwack of punches, the whoosh of kicks, and the occasional frustrated grunt. Cole, despite his MMA background, struggles immensely. His Arcana remains dormant, a frustrating void compared to the developing powers of others. He's trying everything, punching stones, lifting heavy weights, but nothing. It's like trying to start an engine that just won't catch. He's a professional fighter, but here, he feels utterly useless. The echoes of his earlier failures in the ring ringing in his ears. Meanwhile, Kano, always the pragmatist, finds his Arcana through a surge of pure, unfiltered rage and avarice. During a particularly heated argument, fueled by his usual crass comments, A fierce golden energy erupts from his eye, transforming it into a searing laser beam with a distinct zazap sound. It's powerful, destructive, and entirely in character for Kano to unlock his power through pure spite. He immediately uses it to blast a training dummy, probably with a triumphant, vulgar yell. Liu Kang, effortlessly, wields torrents of fire, his fists crackling with heat, the air around him shimmering with his inferno. Kung Lao, with a mischievous grin and a flick of his wrist, makes his iconic razor-rimmed hat fly with incredible speed and precision, a lethal spinning disc that slices through the air with a menacing whir. He can telekinetically control it, making it a truly terrifying weapon, a portable death frisbee. Raiden pushes them to their limits, emphasizing not just physical prowess, but mental fortitude. He's teaching them not just how to fight, but why they fight, and how to harness their inner essence. But the training sanctuary isn't as safe as it seems. Shang Tsung, the devious sorcerer from Outworld, is actively seeking to undermine Earthrealm's efforts. He's a master manipulator, and he's not above bending the rules of the tournament. The very air around the temple suddenly grows heavy, a thick putrid smell assaulting their senses. It's a sign of Outworld's insidious presence. An alarm sounds, a sharp metallic clang that echoes through the ancient stone halls. A new threat emerges. Reptile, a reptilian assassin from Outworld, whose primary advantage is his near-perfect invisibility. Marked only by a shimmering distortion in the air, and a faint guttural hiss, the sound of his clawed feet scratching against stone is barely audible, making him an incredibly difficult foe. The fight is a tense, frantic dance of anticipation and evasion. The air crackles with the swish of his tail, the snap of his jaws, and the disgusting splat of his acidic projectiles. The champions are forced to work together, relying on their senses beyond sight to track the invisible foe. Liu Kang's fire illuminates the space, casting dancing shadows and briefly revealing Reptile's outline, the flames making a soft whoosh as they lick at the air. Kung Lao's hat whirs, its keen edge creating tiny ripples in the air that hint at Reptile's position. Cole, still struggling with his Arcana, contributes with brute strength and desperate dodges, his body aching from the impacts. It's a chaotic symphony of combat, a truly sensory-rich experience. The collective effort and the combined powers of the Earthrealm champions finally overwhelm Reptile, culminating in a gruesome but necessary fatality. This encounter emphasizes the brutal nature of Outworld's forces and the urgency of unlocking their full potential. The stakes escalate dramatically when Shang Tsung, ever the schemer, breaks one of the oldest rules of Mortal Kombat. Instead of waiting for the official tournament, he dispatches the monstrous, four-armed Goro, a Shokan prince of immense power and terrifying reputation, to directly attack Cole's family. This is a direct personal assault, designed to break Cole before he can even begin to fight. Cole's family, now living in an undisclosed safe house, believing themselves secure, are suddenly thrust back into mortal peril. The ground trembles with the heavy thud-thud of Goro's approach, his guttural roars echoing through the night. The sound of splintering wood and crumbling stone fills the air as Goro tears through the building, a living, breathing force of destruction. Cole, hearing his family's terrified screams through Raiden's telepathic connection, feels a surge of primal fear and protective rage. His heart pounds like a war drum, and his blood runs cold and hot simultaneously. This isn't about him anymore. It's about his daughter, Emily, and his wife, Allison. He races back, propelled by a desperate urgency, the ground seeming to fly beneath his feet. Upon arriving, the scene is utter devastation. The house is half destroyed, debris scattered everywhere, the sounds of his family's terrified cries still ringing in the air. Goro, a towering behemoth of muscle and brutality, stands over them, his four fists ready to deliver a crushing blow. The sheer power radiating from Goro is overwhelming, his heavy breathing a menacing huff. In that terrifying, desperate moment, as he witnesses his daughter's fear and his wife's unwavering resolve, something snaps within Cole. The dragon mark on his chest glows with an intense, fiery golden light, and with a powerful crackle, his Arcana ignites. He isn't just a fighter anymore. He is literally imbued with an ancient, protective energy. A golden, almost metallic, armor-like energy field shimmers into existence around his body, enhancing his strength and durability. It's like his inner chi, his very soul, has manifested as a suit of protective power. The power surge is almost audible, a deep thrum that vibrates through the air. The fight against Goro is no longer one-sided. Cole, now armed with his Arcana, meets Goro's monstrous strength with newfound power. The sounds are immense, the bone-jarring crunch of Cole's armored fist connecting with Goro's flesh, the guttural roar of pain from Goro, the sickening thud of their bodies colliding, shaking the very foundations of the ruined house. Cole, channeling his protective fury, eventually defeats Goro, not just with brute force, but with a strategic, devastating final blow. A true fatality that shows the audience what these chosen warriors are truly capable of. This victory is a turning point. Cole has not only unlocked his power, but embraced his destiny, realizing his family is not a weakness, but the source of his strength. This discovery highlights the core of the Arcana. It's not just a skill, but a spiritual manifestation. With Cole's Arcana awakened and the threat of Outworld's direct attacks escalating, Raiden, always thinking strategically, devises a new plan. The rules state that Earthrealm's champions must fight in the tournament itself. But Shang Tsung's preemptive strikes have shown that Outworld is willing to cheat. Raiden decides to split the champions, sending them to different locations across Earthrealm, turning the entire planet into a battleground. This move is designed to draw Outworld's champions out, preventing them from forming a unified assault and potentially catching them off guard. The decision is made amidst serious, hushed conversations, the air thick with the weight of their choices. The champions disperse, each knowing they carry the fate of their realm on their shoulders. Meanwhile, Sonya, still without her Arcana but more determined than ever, finds a broken but healing Jox. Raiden, recognizing Jox's warrior spirit and his previous sacrifice, has given him powerful, advanced cybernetic arms, a technological marvel built with some unknown mystical components. The new arms gleam with a dark, metallic sheen, a testament to Raiden's intervention. Jox is struggling, wrestling with the trauma of his injury, the phantom pains, and the intimidating presence of his new limbs. His frustration boils over, the clang of his new metal fists against the stone wall echoing with his anger. Sonya encourages him, reminding him of his strength, his bravery. It is through this emotional struggle, embracing both his past injury and his new, augmented reality, that Jox finally unlocks his Arcana. With a powerful guttural roar, his new cybernetic arms glow with a vibrant metallic energy, becoming even stronger, capable of delivering devastating shockwaves. The thrum of power emanating from his new arms is almost visible. He slams them together, creating a concussive boom that shakes the very ground. Jox is reborn, not just as a fighter, but as a true champion, his metal arms now an extension of his will. This demonstrates that Arcana can even manifest through technological enhancement, if the spirit behind it is strong enough. As the champions regroup and prepare for the dispersed battles, a moment of profound betrayal occurs. Kano, always opportunistic and driven by self-interest, is tempted by Shang Tsung's promises of power and wealth. The whispers of Shang Tsung, subtly amplified by Outworld's insidious magic, promise him riches and dominance, things Kano truly understands. He deserts Earthrealm, abandoning his reluctant allies for the dark allure of Outworld. His treacherous laugh, a harsh guttural sound, echoes through the air as he declares his allegiance, probably with a crude joke about money. Sonya, who had invested a sliver of trust in the scoundrel, confronts him. The fight is personal and brutal. Kano, now fully embracing his villainy, unleashes his laser eye with a vicious ZZZZZAP, narrowly missing Sonya. Sonya, despite still lacking her Arcana, fights with incredible skill and ferocity. Her movements precise, her blows impactful. The crack of her knuckles against his jaw, the grunt of pain from Kung Lao, the desperate huffing as they exchange blows. She outsmarts him, outmaneuvers him, and eventually defeats him in a visceral, satisfying battle. In a truly pivotal world-building moment, after delivering the final bone-shattering blow, Sonya is exposed to the dragon mark on Kano's chest. With a sudden, intense flash of light and a sharp, almost burning sensation, the mark transfers to her. This isn't just a convenient plot device. It shows that Arcana is transferable, a spiritual inheritance, or even a parasitic acquisition. Immediately, her latent power awakens. With a defiant roar, a powerful energy blast, a concentrated whoosh of pure force, erupts from her hands, a manifestation of her newfound Arcana. Sonya, the non-chosen, has now become a true champion, demonstrating that worthiness can sometimes override destiny. The stage is now set for the final, fragmented battle. Shang Tsung's champions are scattered, forcing Earthrealm's fighters into a series of individual high-stakes duels across various familiar Earthrealm locations, a stark contrast to a single arena. This strategy aims to prevent Earthrealm from uniting their forces and allows Shang Tsung to pick off the champions one by one. Shang Tsung himself observes the unfolding chaos with a smug, knowing smirk, his chilling laughter echoing through his observation portal. The battles commence with a flurry of elemental powers and devastating martial arts. First, the nimble and unpredictable Liu Kang faces the lightning-fast Cabal. Their fight is a blur of motion. Liu Kang's fire manipulation, the whoosh and crackle of flames, is countered by Cabal's super speed. The almost imperceptible blur of his movements, and his signature hooked swords, which whistle through the air with a menacing swish. Cabal's chains extend with a metallic rattle, snapping and lashing with incredible force, forcing Liu Kang to dodge and weave, the air whipping around him. The sounds are a symphony of speed and power. The rhythmic thump of their feet against the ground, the ping of metal on stone, the sizzle of flesh against fire. Liu Kang, disciplined and focused, uses his elemental control to create fireballs that explode with a powerful bang, forcing Cabal to momentarily slow down, making him vulnerable. The fight is a dance of agility and devastating blows, ending with Liu Kang's fiery definitive fatality, the roar of the flames consuming his foe. Next, the confident and flamboyant Kung Lao confronts the winged This battle takes to the skies and the ruins of an ancient temple. Natara, a vampire-like creature with leathery wings, swoops and dives with the sounds of flapping whooshes and shrill screeches. Kung Lao, with his signature razor-sharp hat, sends it whirring through the air with incredible speed. The whiz of its rotation, a constant threat. He uses his hat as a shield, a projectile, and a terrifying close-quarters weapon. The clack of his hat against her claws, the thud of bodies against stone. The gush of wind created by her wings, it's an aerial ballet of death. Kung Lao's showmanship shines through even in the midst of this brutal fight, his quips cutting as sharply as his hat. He eventually uses his hat to slice through her. A gruesome yet visually stunning fatality that solidifies his lethality. **** Cole. Young finds himself against the monstrous Mylena ****, a twisted, clone-like assassin with terrifying fangs and razor-sharp says. Her guttural snarls and the shick of her says slicing through the air create an immediate sense of primal danger. Cole's golden armor, his Arcana, glows with protective energy, absorbing some of her brutal attacks. The clank of her says against his armored body, the grunt of effort from Cole, the thwack of his powerful punches, it's a heavy-hitting close-quarters brawl. Mylena's speed and ferocity are terrifying, her fanged mouth a constant threat. She's relentless, almost feral, her moves animalistic. Cole, drawing on his protective instincts for his family, pushes past his fear, his resolve hardening with every hit. He takes brutal blows but retaliates with even greater force, ultimately overpowering her with a powerful gut-trenching blow, completing another satisfying fatality. ***Jox. With his gleaming new cybernetic arms, faces the hulking brute Reiko ****. This is a clash of sheer strength and concussive power. The crash of Jox's metal fists against Reiko's armored body, the boom of the ground as their powerful blows connect, the deep rumble of the impacts. It's a fight that shakes the very ground. Reiko, wielding a massive warhammer, attacks with wild sweeping blows. Each swing accompanied by a heavy whoosh of air. Jox, embracing the power of his Arcana-infused arms, blocks and counters with surprising agility for his size. His movements, now fluid and powerful, he uses the shockwave ability of his arms with a devastating THWUMP, creating ripples of force that disorient and damage Reiko. The fight is a raw display of muscle and impact, culminating in Jox's brutal, head-crushing fatality. The sickening squish of bone and flesh, a visceral end to the fight. Sonya Blade, newly marked and powered, finally gets her revenge on Kano. Their fight is intensely personal, filled with bitter words and raw emotion. Kano, driven by his usual greed and malice, uses his laser eye with a confident zazap, trying to incinerate Sonya. But Sonya, now imbued with her Arcana, counters with her energy blasts. The fizz and pop of her newly awakened power, surprising even herself. The sound of her fists connecting with Kano's face. The grunt of pain from him. The hiss of her energy attacks. It's a satisfying display of her newfound strength. She uses her tactical prowess, combined with her Arcana, outmaneuvering and outthinking the crude mercenary. Their exchange of blows is punctuated by Kano's desperate, angry insults and Sonya's cold, focused determination. Her final, devastating energy blast, a concentrated boom, is the culmination of her long, hard journey to become a true champion, a true fatality to end his treacherous run. Finally, the ultimate grudge match, centuries in the making. Sub-Zero vs. Scorpion. This is the fight that started it all, a duel born of ancient blood feud, and resurrected by the forces of the Netherrealm. Sub-Zero, the relentless cryomancer, unleashes his full arsenal of ice powers. The air crackles with the snap and hiss of rapidly forming ice. The ground groans as ice shards erupt from below, the whirl of his ice clones. But then, with a terrifying guttural roar that seems to rip from the very fabric of the Netherrealm, Hanzo Hasashi, reborn as the fiery Spectre Scorpion, enters the fray. He's back, and he is not happy. The air immediately shifts from freezing cold to scorching heat. The ground sizzling with his infernal presence. The distinct clink of his chain-link kunai. The terrifying whoosh of his fire breath, and the iconic thwack of his spear, embedding itself into Sub-Zero. It's all there. Their powers clash in a spectacular display of elemental warfare. The crack of ice, meeting fire. The roar of flames against the shatter of frozen constructs. The metallic clang of their weapons colliding. It's a symphony of destruction. Scorpion, fueled by centuries of vengeance, is a force of pure, unadulterated rage and infernal power. He uses his teleportation ability with a sudden puff of smoke and fire, appearing and disappearing with terrifying speed. His signature phrase, "Get over here," rings out with a chilling finality, each utterance accompanied by the whip-like snap of his chain spear. The fight is personal, brutal, and utterly captivating, a culmination of ancient prophecies and raw emotional power. Sub-Zero, for all his power, is ultimately no match for the vengeful wrath of Scorpion, who delivers a fiery, excruciating fatality, avenging his family, and finally ending the age-old rivalry. In the aftermath of these brutal, world-defining battles, Shang Tsung is forced to retreat, his plan to conquer Earthrealm through stealth and deception thwarted. He departs with a chilling promise. This is not over. The Earthrealm champions, battered but victorious, stand tall amidst the ruins. They have protected their realm, not just through their physical prowess, but by embracing their destinies, finding their Arcana, and forging an unlikely alliance. Cole, having truly found his purpose, now understands his lineage and his role. He's no longer just a struggling fighter. He's a champion, a protector. The sounds of distant sirens and the faint smell of ozone from the recent battles begin to dissipate, replaced by the quiet hum of victory. Raiden gathers them, acknowledging their courage and their strength, but also reminding them that this was merely a skirmish. The true Mortal Kombat tournament still looms, a larger, more formidable challenge on the horizon. The world-building aspect here is crucial. This was the pre-tournament, the proving ground, setting up the actual main event. The film concludes with Cole Young, now fully embracing his heritage and his newfound powers, setting off on a new mission. He's carrying a list of other potential champions, marked with that familiar dragon symbol. A quest to gather more heroes for the inevitable, larger conflict. The final shot is a tantalizing tease. A wanted poster featuring the unmistakable name of Johnny Cage, promising a future filled with more over-the-top action, more colorful characters, and undoubtedly, more glorious fatalities. The journey has just begun, and the universe of Mortal Kombat, with its intricate rules, ancient rivalries, and powerful arcana, is wide open. As the echoes of battle subside and the dust settles, we're left with a profound sense of the power within us all, waiting to be unleashed. The heroes of Earthrealm weren't born with their full potential. They unearthed it through struggle, sacrifice, and the unwavering belief in something greater than themselves. Their journey reminds us that destiny isn't a fixed path, but a canvas upon which we paint our own courage, our own resilience, and our own unbreakable spirit. It's about facing impossible odds and finding strength in unexpected places. Mortal Kombat 2021 delivers on its promise of brutal, visually stunning fights and a surprisingly robust world-building effort. It manages to weave an engaging origin story while honoring the game's lore and signature violence. The film truly captures the essence of the franchise, giving fans both the visceral action they crave and a solid foundation for future entries. It's a compelling, often gruesome, start to a new cinematic chapter for a beloved universe.